you're not trying to sell your vehicles. You are building the vehicles because that is what you appreciate and that's how you see your vehicles. You build your vehicles in the way that your mind's eye wants them to be built.
Jump in here.
Right. But
I
you're a
see
modeler.
I see a vehicle and I know I know the color, I know what it needs to be. Some need skirts, some don't need skirts. They look ugly with skirts. It's just how can I say it? Time is running out on these vehicles, the 40s and 50s. If you see a young kid driving a Model A, beautiful black primer, and then you see a 54 DeSoto four-door welded up in the back. And
They'll never know. Well, today's
this is the stage today.
but today's age kids won't know. But the Gen X kids, okay, the generation that I come from, we do know. We understand these cars. We've seen these cars from Chip Foose. We've seen them through Boyd Coddington, Nayrod. My across the street neighbor when I was growing up for a period of time was Nayrod's Hot Rods, out of California. The dude had some of the most beautiful cars I could ever imagine seeing.
And I give them all the
And
credit.
and I can remember growing up looking at these magazines and wishing that I could be a part of the cars that I am now a part of today. And these are Dave Gould's cars. These are the cars that you have. We're talking your 31 coupe is probably one of the best 1950s rat rod coupes that
Not a rat rod, it's a hot rod.
Okay, well,
That
hot
was
rod
a full
coupe,
fendered car.
the 50, or the 40, the
31.
the 31. That's not. It's not.
Drove
It's,
it in, four-cylinder, with
Yeah.
a four-speed. Somebody
but now it's got the Merc V8 in it. It's it doesn't have the Baron motor anymore because the Baron motor is being reserved for
because nobody would pay me what the car was worth.
right.
So I put this flathead motor in, good flathead motor. Give me less. Give me $10,000 less. Does that make you happy? I don't know.
Well, the thing is the buyers today. They're buying off of what the magazines say. They're buying off of what the general consensus is. Okay, they don't understand most people that aren't mechanics and gearheads, such as Brian Grow, myself, you. Well, you're in the older
I'm not
generation.
really a gearhead.
You're two generations beyond me, but we're down here, and where your cars are now, they're starting to regrow. Okay, you're back in that bubble. So you got that wave where the car, when it was sold, it was worth a certain amount of money and it dipped way down. And then it went back up, and your cars at one point in time were worth a lot of money, and they dropped back down again because the 60s and 70s cars became popular. Why? Because
Muscle
the
cars.
people from
People
our
grow up.
parents, the ones that wanted to have those cars back when they were growing up, they could afford them all of a sudden. Well, my generation, we're growing up, and it's like, okay, you can't find a Mercury. You can't find them. You can't find a 31 or a 32. Not at a good price, anyway. I mean, ridiculous if you want to go out and pay for $100,000 for a freaking 32
This
Ford.
is why I changed the motor. I took the Baron motor out of that coupe because anybody can afford a $25,000 coupe. Running, flathead coupe. Most people don't even know what a flathead is, so they just like, I don't know. What do you do if you break down? Well, what do you do if you break down on a 350 Chevy?
Yeah, but your flathead coupe has got a Chip Brignola suicide
Frame.
chassis underneath it.
Yeah.
A 32, so it's a 31
With a 32 frame.
body with a 32 Chip
It's a high
Brignola.
boy. It's a high boy.
Well, Chip Brignola fucking built the chassis underneath it, right? Chip did.
Chick was a real good friend of mine. Brignola Engineering out of Norton, Mass.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm building the Roadster with the 31 his frame.
Yeah.
And
But we're doing you guys, you guys will see a little bit more about the 31 Roadster. That's going to be it'll actually have the full rumbler seat and everything inside of it. You guys will see a little bit more on that one later on. We're going to touch a little bit on this now, but later on you guys will see more about that car. But the 31, but we're talking about the 31 Coupe. So 31 Coupe had the Baron motor in it.
yes,
Okay. So we took the Baron motor out of the 31 Coupe because we're going to put it into the 49 Merc.
yes.
Okay, the 49 Merc. What is so... I know what's special about the 49 Merc, but Dave, I want to hear from you. What is special about that 49 Merc?
You open up the hood, and everybody got the same thing. Offenhauser heads, 4-barrel manifold, 4-barrel carburetor, but which is fine. I have no problem with that. But I like to be different. I want to be different. And it's Baron heads. People think it's a Hemi.
Yeah, but what? But your 49 Merc, the blue Merc, okay. I understand the motor is special. Okay, a lot of people will get into the motor thing again later on. The Baron motor, I agree with you, is a very special motor. It was something that was built specifically to complement. But and I understand. I guess the question is, why are we putting their Baron motor? Why are we putting a $10,000 flathead motor into a Mercury?
Because I bought those heads from a good friend of mine, Mike Goodman, who owned Honest Church. And I had bought them polished in the grooves, everything. Went to the hill with it. But to buy those heads, you had to talk to Tony Barron, who's a physics professor in California. And he opened up his grandfather's foundry. So now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not too savvy on this. One company, Offenhauser or whatever, sells 8-to-1 or 8.5-to-1 compression, and the other company sells 9-to-1 compression. Am I correct with that?
Well, I don't know.
I really,
It really
But-
depends on pistons, your bore and stroke, and everything else to make the compression.
Okay, but you have to know all that. The beauty of Baron heads is I talked to, thank you, Tony. I had to call Tony Barron himself and give him the lobe of the cam, the piston sizes, what carburation is. Those heads were built for that motor. And I said, on paper.
Oh, so he took all the dumb out of the paperwork.
Huh?
He took all the dumb out of engine building for you, and sent you
Yeah.
the heads that were
Those
perfect for your
heads are
motor.
built for that motor for peak performance. It could be, I don't know, I don't understand that. Maybe it's 8.31. Maybe it's 8. I said on paper, Tony. I had a 52 Ford that I had built with the same stuff I have in there. I had a dynoed. It was 190 horsepower.
Mm-hmm.
He says on paper, without documentation, you're running over 200 horsepower.
Now, let's pause for a second. I want you guys to realize when we're talking 190 horsepower and 205 horsepower, we're talking horsepowers out of 1949 engines.
51.
51 engines.
50, I'm sorry.
50s or 51 engines. You know, the Bs. The Bs, right? The B models? The flathead Bs or
Well, they were notice up until 48 there were 59 H or I don't remember offhand.
well they call them the narrows or the narrow or the wides on when you're buying your air conditioning systems if you have a flathead.
There's wide belts and there's wide V belts and there's narrow.
Yes. We have the wides and basically finding anything for a flathead, if you even have a flathead, first of all, most of you guys jokers have gone over to Chevy and all that. But flatheads originally came out with 49 horsepower.
No. Ford was 100 horsepower, Mercury was 112, and some guys debated it could be 114. Who cares?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I do stand corrected. It was Ford that produced the first four-cylinder motor with 49 horsepower.
No, 60 horsepower.
Well, who had 49 horsepower?
What was interesting was they came out with a 17-bolt flathead in 1937 to 1940, which was a 60 horsepower V8, same as a four-cylinder V8. I don't know. I don't get it.
But I thought we had wasn't there a 49 horsepower motor like in like the Model A's or Model T's somewhere around there?
No, those are four-cylinder, 60 horsepower.
60 horsepower.
The peppy little bastards.
Hey guys, look, you import people, especially you Honda people, 60 horsepower back in the 40s.
Four-cylinder or the 17-bolt 60 horsepower also they thought would economize the car. It was from 37 to 40. It didn't work. Then in the 50s, that 17-bolt flathead became, I think it was they call it a board track racer. Very popular, very peppy.
Mm-hmm.
And then they died out. Now
Board track racer, those were motorcycles, weren't they?
Well, I'm not sure if it was a board, top board, or whatever.
Board track racers were definitely motorcycles. Those were the
Okay.
ones. Those are the ones that you went down and you saw in like Daytona during the Daytona races and stuff like that.
I'm not sure on that, so I'll agree with you. But it was
But the flat track racers would have been A bodies, yes.
okay.
Yeah.
But they were peppy little bastards. Peppy, I mean peppy. You lighten up that car and whoosh, you go like a bastard. But it didn't work.
Not as well as Ford wanted them to work. Ford wanted to have
Well,
like number one.
we knew that the war was coming in 37 when Hitler took over, and in 1940 they just didn't work.
So I heard a rumor, and this is something that is here nor there. And it probably strikes home with you. So I feel bad about asking this, but I understand Henry Ford was an anti-Semitist.
Yes. Very. He actually went to Germany during World War II and made a deal with Hitler to build him troop trucks. Well, he was building our troop trucks.
And you're I mean, I don't want to
Say it,
throw it
just
out there.
say it.
And you're a Jew.
Yeah.
And you drive Fords.
And Chevys and Dodges.
They call him Flathead Dave.
Can I
Okay.
tell you why?
Well, and here's the thing. Ford makes a brilliant product. Edsel Ford was a brilliant man. His dad is a different story. And I would like to point out that anti Semitism and racism are two different things. Racism is something that was made up in America to cover for the people in America that wanted people to feel bad for them. Anti Semitism started in Germany. Enjoy that one, people.
I'd like to mention that I have a 17-volt flathead V8 in a motorcycle. It was built by Dale Olson out of Illinois. You can get on his website. He actually did a V12. The guy is totally insane. Love him. But it's an Honest Charlie bike because Corky Coker and Mike Goodman from Honest Charlie's
From Charlie's, yeah.
were partners. And I have one of them bikes.
Hey.
In 2005 I bought it.
So, some people say that Charlie is from, or Goodman is from Chicago. I've heard that Goodman is from North Carolina. I've seen personally some of your personal equipment that says that Honest Charlie's is from Tennessee.
I believe it's Chattanooga, wherever Corky Coker's
Chattanooga.
factory is, Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Yes, sir.
Because he was a good friend of mine.
All right, so for all you hot rodders that think that you guys know, and when you see the front license plate of a certain 50 rolling around, and it says Honest Charlie's, Chattanooga, Tennessee, that's the original Honest Charlie's. Don't question it.
Well, Mike retired.
Yeah, I know. But, so let's get back to this blue car. This blue car. The
Indigo Blue, number 39.
Indigo Blue, number 39. We'll just call her Lori, right?
I built it for my wife. She rode in it once and passed away. And I just wasn't happy with the depth. So I had a friend of mine to redo it and bake it. Whew. Got depth.
Right?
It sat for all 18 years with just a loose cover over it. Mice in it. I put a lot of bounce in there years ago, but that didn't really last long. But I was very lucky that, very lucky. No mice.
Okay. So, I'm going to interject again.
Good.
When I first saw this car, it was inside of the storage facility, where there's a few cars, and I was showing it off to a friend, a lady friend of mine, and I pulled back the cover, and I couldn't believe how beautiful the car was. And the more I pulled the cover back, the more I realized that there was a rhinestone laying inside of a piece of coal. Okay, I literally fell over sideways because Dave had asked me to bring it home. He said, bring it home. If you can get her started, bring her home. I didn't even try to get her started. That was not my job. I wasn't going to drive her home. I wasn't going to do that. And I'm sure Dave probably would have been elated if I had got it started and brought it home. But we did the wise thing. We had a friend of ours come over, used car company in Prospect, Connecticut. If you talk to Tommy, guy's an amazing man. He took care of it. He came over. He picked up the car, brought it home, put it in the driveway for us, and we took care of the rest of it. This car sat for 18 years, people. 18 years. Because David was so brokenhearted that he didn't even want to look at it. And it was underneath the cover. It wasn't until I peeled the cover back and Dave went in a couple of days later, it was like, this car has been under a cover? I couldn't even believe it. Like, this car has been under a cover for 18 years. I shown you guys a picture of this vehicle in a short not too long ago, and many of you viewers definitely expressed a desire to want more. You desired more of the story. You want to know more of the story. What I do understand about the story is that Dave built the car 20 years ago for his wife. She got to ride in it. They went out, had a romantic dance in front of a Mexican restaurant, which ironically was perfect for them. And they enjoyed each other. That was Dave's last loving memory of his wife was in this vehicle. Okay.
Can I add something? When Lori was alive, I went out and bought 249 and 250 bucks from a guy from Arapahoe, Nebraska. Nice guy. And I figured I'd sell off to the other three to build this one. Well, as we know, that didn't happen. But I was in Carlisle years ago, and I found an NOS speedometer that had 0 miles, well, they always have 0.4 or whatever, blah, blah, blah. The body was taken off the frame, flipped over, blasted, flipped back over, blasted underneath, blasted the car. The car has 21 miles on it. And Sean got it running. You got to take credit for that one. Sean got it running just like it was the day it was built. It's just it's an amazing vehicle. Everything just works, and I don't get it, but it's true. So I believe in karma. There's Lori's car. She's always with me.
Well, the inspiration behind the vehicle, that's one of the most touching part for me about the vehicle was the inspiration behind it. It was Lori's. Lori loved cars. Lori loved you. She loved everything about what you guys did together. She loved your guys' motorcycles. Like, you built motorcycles, Harleys, in the past, correct?
Yep. Yes.
And Lori was part of that, was
Yes.
she?
Yep.
And
She rode my shovelhead.
okay, and and she took over your shovelhead and made you buy
Yeah.
a FHL.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
We're matching colors.
with matching colors, right? And you and your son now have those bikes.
We bought them all back. We have all of them. We have 8 of them that we, knucklehead, panhead, shovelhead, Evo, on and on and on.
Flathead.
Flathead.
Yeah.
And don't forget the Indian.
And the Indian, right?
So, that was just a legacy to build for my son.
Yeah, but the legacy that you built, David, is a legacy that people from my generation, I mean, what am I? I guess I'm the 40 to 65-year-olds. I don't know what generation I am. I'm a Gen X, guys.
Well, let me mention the fact that my son Dan helped me build some of these bikes.
Your son Dan helped you build a lot of those bikes.
Yeah.
In fact, there's a whole collection of cars that just recently came up I don't know if I should mention that on this, but
You're not going to hurt my feelings.
uh, Junkyard,
Yeah.
you know, should
Junkyard owns the shovel head that Danny built. And he doesn't want it back. He never looked back sometimes. And he's right. We have a shovel head that he and I built. It is what it is.
well, what? All right, people. If you guys would like to know more information about a private collection of cars that may or may not have come up on scene right now, reach out to me. I'll let you know. The only thing I can give you information wise is that I'm in Pennsylvania. I'm in Pennsylvania. So if you're near me and want to see a pretty sick collection of cars, you guys can come meet up with us and we'll take you over. We're not going to talk money for you. We're not going to deal with any of that.
What to mention is, I think it's time. The bikes are not for sale. And some of the cars are not for sale, but there are some cars. And I always add air conditioning because I can't stand the heat. But
Well, the humidity up here sucks.
yeah. So
Unless you have a convertible or a 31.
the Roadster's a convertible. That's the last one I got.
That 31 with the
As a convertible.
tilt-up window is nice.
Yeah. Well, I'm a humble person. I don't like to brag and stuff. And
All right. Well, I tell you what,
come and look at them.
we're in Pennsylvania. If you guys are in the East Coast and you want to come by and see the Dave Gold collection, there are a couple of the cars for sale. I'm not going to tell you which ones they are. I might throw some pictures in, but
Can I give them my website?
no. You have a website?
Hmm.
What's your website? Or your email?
Email. I don't know the difference.
No, we don't want to give them webs. We're not giving them emails.
Well,
Just
how can they get in touch with me?
they can reach out to us through YouTube.
Okay.
Reach out to us. Let us know. Dave will. There is an incredible collection of cars, and I can promise you that all of them are amazing. The 49 you guys are going to be seeing here pretty quick, and all the work that's going to be happening on it, including the air conditioning, power windows, door poppers, gauges. There's a lot of videos coming up soon, people. So you guys got a lot to look forward to. Dave has got an amazing collection of vehicles, and if you guys are interested, contact us. We're in Pennsylvania, a little small town called Naugatuck, and we welcome visitors. Come on by. Let us know you're coming by first, though. Love y'all. Bye.